Hey horror fans, thanks for joining me for this review of I Blame Society. Alright, well, I blame society too, but that's another story. Um, so, cast and crew information down below. And let's start off with the IMDb plot here. As usual, real quick, a struggling filmmaker realizes that the skill set to make a movie is the same to commit the perfect murder. Yeah, we'll see about that. I don't know. Alright, so this is not a movie that I, you know, that I kind of caught a lot of information about. I just kind of stumbled onto this one. And, at first glance, I kind of thought, um, was this even a horror movie? And, as I kind of mentioned on some of the other reviews, some definitions of horror are different than others. And, it first mentions this as a comedy, and then a horror, and then thriller here on IMDb. But I think when I first saw it, I think I just saw it mentioned as a comedy. But I don't remember what intrigued me to kind of put it on and hit play. But I did anyway. And very interesting film. And I guess let's see here, Gillian, Wallace, Horvat. Hopefully I didn't butcher that in any way. But she writes, directs, and stars in this film. And so I guess let's start from the beginning here and kind of set up the story. Basically, she does a lot of filming herself, and like I said here, she wants to be a filmmaker. But I guess as she's filming a video early on, and I think it might be the opening scene here, you see her mention to her friend who, I believe a boyfriend at the time, that in speaking to some other people, they told her that she would make a very good serial killer. Interesting somebody would say that about you. But yeah, for whatever reason, they said that about her, and it kind of stuck with her. Then time passes by, and I guess it still sticks with her. And she's obviously an aspiring filmmaker, as mentioned, and a lot of the movie is, it's not really found footage, but it is just kind of filming her, a lot of the camera on her and what she's doing. And you kind of see her then at a point in her life where apparently some of the films she's done or whatever she's been doing hasn't worked. So again, that phrase kind of sticks with her. And she basically almost starts from the ground up. And, it's not one of those things where, she just goes and kills a random person and builds on that. I mean, she starts literally from the ground up. She's like, kind of having to stalk somebody first, and then maybe figuring out how to break into somebody's house first, and then eventually getting to the killing part. So as that kind of sets up, like I said, this is a comedy, and it's certainly funny in angles here. I don't know Gillian, what kind of personality she has, how close this played to how her true self is, but she's definitely an interesting character, or at least plays this character very interestingly, and very smart in some things, dumb in others. But just you gotta. I think we've seen other horror movies where killers kind of come to be, or somebody accidentally kills and then ends up killing again, and to kind of take this, and she takes it literally, like I said, from the ground up, where she almost makes a study and then kind of advances along. It's kind of funny to see, but she does become a killer, and she does kind of film it all, and she starts kind of very easily sneaking into people's places and kind of drugging them, and she does do some stalking of some of them, and she has a place that she goes and kind of hangs out a lot, and sometimes she'll pick a victim from there and kind of follow them, and then eventually break into their home. And like I said early on, it's just simple stuff like spiking their drink, putting something in their drink, so that they'll end up eventually dying. And then I think one of the funny things, and this is a new movie, so hopefully I'm not spoiling, but I think one of the funny things is some of the surrounding outside world's response to this, and her response to that. She sees that on the news they mention a serial killer, and I don't want to take away from the moment, but you're going to see a funny response from her for that, and in a way, a true response to that. I think she's makes a good point in kind of what happens there, the assumptions that people make about the killer, and then from her point of view, why they're wrong, obviously. I comes to a point where she ends up killing somebody close to her, and that's kind of what kind of was her first kill, and kind of what sparked it kind of showing that she could do it. And it was just of circumstance. It wasn't that she totally meant to kill this person, but she did. And that's kind of a subplot of this movie, is not only her filming herself and slowly becoming this killer, but she has a couple of relationships that are close to her, and that kind of plays a role in some of the killings and some of the events that go on as well. So while some of the kills are strangers and people she stalked, there are a couple that are more closer to her. Do you ever get the feeling that she's completely lost it in this movie? Not totally, not till maybe the end. Maybe one of her final kills. You see her advance as she goes along. It's not just her drugging people as it goes on. She does start pushing the bounds as the movie goes on. I guess one of the things here is that, and I guess maybe they stress on the point that she's a good serial killer, or at least she thinks she is, that she never totally really gets challenged. It's not, we see, regular serial killer movie, there's moments where, the killer is going to get confronted by somebody, and there's going to be that struggle, and maybe the person gets out or whatever, blah, blah, blah. Here, she's doing a lot of winning. There's not a lot of pushback at her and so forth as this goes on. And then the extra funny part, or I guess to add on top of everything else that's going on here, and hopefully this is not a spoiler, I don't think it is, but at a certain point in this movie, one of the extra layers to it is that, as I said, or as it says there, she is making a film, and as you're watching this, she's basically presented this to some people, and mind you, she's put this film together, as you're watching this, as showing herself basically kill a bunch of people, and you as the audience know that it's fake, or you as the audience, you're watching this, this is just a regular movie, but she's pretending in this movie, it's really her that's really shot all this, and really killed all these people, but she's showing it to people that are thinking that this is just all fake, and she's trying to sell it to producers here, and so you kind of see how that plays off, and you kind of see their reaction to what she's put together, and it's funny, and it just another layer to this movie. So I think there's definitely some creativity here in what she did, not only in the development of her character, where I think you could have had a straight movie. I mean, you could have had almost made this a found footage film, where anybody could have picked this up and watched this girl, this woman, basically teach herself how to kill people and so forth, in order to make a movie. And maybe we've seen layers of that in other movies. But then the fact that they add on top of it that she's trying to sell this as a movie, and then people are taking it as this was a movie and not what just really happened, and that she really did kill all these people. It's kind of funny in its own right. So overall, this is not hardcore horror here, although you do see her kill a lot of people. And like I said, by the time she gets down to her last couple of kills, maybe last three or so kills, you're seeing it more in a typical horror fashion, and maybe you're more believable in the stuff and how she kills to start with than maybe some of the stuff that she ends with. But I think she kind of proves her point that she does become a pretty good killer here. Obviously, because it's a movie, she's not really going to get caught or anything like that. She is trying to sell the movie. And that's just not the point. The point is not to catch her. And the point is not, to say, hey, she's a serial killer, so we got to kill her to fight for our lives. So I think there's a lot of creativity there. So overall, I'm going to say I like this one. I'm going to give it 3 pools of blood. I don't really know what's going to be short of giving me a 3.5, and that is out of 5. Other than maybe it's not true horror. I think maybe if they played it off as more horror and people recognized it more as a horror movie, maybe I would be inclined to give it maybe a little bit more. But I certainly like the creativity here. I like her character. Like I said, I don't know if she, that is Gillian, if she's like that naturally, or she just played the part. It's just an interesting character, and kind of the way they piece it together with her filming everything. And then, like I said, the angle the film takes is her trying to sell the film. It's just an extra bonus there. And you just kind of gotta give her extra points there for the creativity angle there. But yeah, I'm overall glad that I took a shot on this one. Unfortunately, I've turned on a couple of things. I've been trying to search here on Amazon and Netflix for some things, and I've picked some wrong things. But this one's not on Netflix or Amazon. I didn't see it through that, but I just mentioning that it could have gone wrong. But I'm glad it didn't. I'm a little shell-shocked by some of the stuff that I hit play on. Anyway, back to the point here. I'm in an eternal debate here whether to give it 3 or 3.5. Let's give her 3.5. Let's give it to her. For that extra creativity, I'll give her the extra 0.5 there. But again, this is horror comedy, or I should say comedy horror, and probably comedy. They have it listed, I think, comedy first, and with horror element to it. Going back and forth, and then saying that makes me want to bring it back to a 3. I don't know, whatever. Take it for what it worth. I still think at the end of the day, it's worth seeing. And it's just a different, different way of going about things. You can probably bring up some similar titles in the horror world that were like this, but I think, she takes her own shot at it here. And I'm really shocked that maybe I just missed it. I don't know, that we didn't hear about it more in the horror circle, horror community, or whatever you want to say. So with that, as always, horrorsgoryreviews.blogspot.com, where you can find more of these video reviews and written reviews as well. Obviously, you subscribe to the channel, you can get all the video reviews as well. If you've seen this, please comment about the movie down below. Interested in your thoughts on this, or if you want to talk about something else, you can do it there. Also, my Twitter, Facebook information is down below as well. reach out to me about this movie, other movies. You want to talk horror? I'm game, always game for that. And yeah, then that'll be it. And she blames society. I definitely can blame society as well. Don't blame it on yourself. And with that, I will catch you on the next review, horror fans.